Thank you so much for joining me this evening for this webinar on Santorini, Mozambique. A little bit of housekeeping. As always, we will be recording the webinar and popping it on our YouTube channel, and we will also send this out with all the information you'll need about Santorini, including photos, rates, fact sheets, and all that. Any questions, please pop them in the Q&A and we'll get to them at the end. Any you have throughout, please feel free to keep popping them in the Q&A and we'll get to those once we've finished the presentation. So Santorini, Mozambique is based just outside Vilanculos in Mozambique. So just here, and it is about a 25-minute drive north of Vilanculos Airport. So that's where you fly into. And it's got really good connections from Johannesburg and also Nelspruit. So these connections from Johannesburg particularly were daily pre-pandemic, and they are increasing the frequency of them at the moment. So, we're hoping it'll get back up to, daily flights eventually with demand. So just recently, Mozambique dropped the need for a PCR test for those who are fully vaccinated, which has been fantastic. And that's obviously really helped with having the property nice and full, as it has been very recently. And then connections from Nelspruit are really easy as well. So it provides a great Kruger add-on, a great beach add-on from a Kruger safari. And with the Johannesburg connection, it just makes it a really great Southern Africa. So from Botswana, South Africa, Zim and Zambia, a really great add-on if you're transiting through Johannesburg particularly. So as I said, it's about a 25-minute drive north of the airport. So we are on the mainland and overlooking the Bazaruto archipelago. So it's a really lovely drive. You drive through the sort of local village and the local town. You can see kids going to school. And so you kind of get a really nice idea for local life as well, which while the island's obviously stunning, you kind of miss that, I guess, when you sort of shoot off to an island straight away. So it's really nice to get an idea of kind of local life and culture, and that's something that Santorini really likes to kind of weave into their offering as well. And then you still get that island experience by heading out to the islands for every 3-night stay. They have a full day's island excursion for guests, so guests still get that island experience and get to experience the Bazaruto. So as you arrive, all the transfers are included. So we're picked up from Vilanculos Airport by a representative from Santorini with a lovely big beaming smile. And then you jump in this sort of safari vehicle to drive that 20-minute drive to the property. So it's, kind of a really nice extension from the safari that a lot of guests at Santorini have just been on. And the flight in is so beautiful. Flying over the ocean, you kind of fly down the coast and it is so stunning. I've got so many photos just from that flight alone. So Santorini have got a private airport lounge at Vilanculos. So the airport here is actually new. So it's a really nice airport. It's very little, but it is pretty new. But it is nice for departing guests to have that little extension of their stay at Santorini. So there's complimentary snacks, some drinks, and they also have Wi-Fi in there as well. So it's just a sort of nice extension of their experience at Santorini. And at the property, there are 3 villas. So the main villa, which operates as a sort of boutique hotel, so it's just 5 suites there. Then there's the chapel, which is the 2-bedroom exclusive use villa, and Villa de Praia, which is 3-bedroom exclusive use villa. So this is actually a photo taken on an iPhone, so taken on Anita's phone from a few years ago. I've got a photo almost identical from about a month ago. It is beautiful, the views from here. And as you can see, the tide does go out. It is quite tidal here. But I actually thought it was almost more beautiful when the tide was out, because you get these gorgeous little lagoons when the tide heads out, and it's not that far out. You can walk out to the ocean pretty easily, and there's not really much seaweed, so it is still very beautiful. And so there's steps down to the beach. It's sort of 30-second walk down onto the beach. But it is to be noted that it is steps down there, so in terms of access. And then when you're down on the beach, they've got these lovely cabanas. They've got a coconut shower. They've got a loo down here. So there are facilities down on the beach. So when guests can stay down here all day, they can have their lunch down here. So there's, they could be on the beach from, right from the morning through until the evening. And the main villa is sort of situated around this main pool. And then there's sort of dining areas off this. There's lots of different lounge areas as well. So, even if the villa's full with, only 10 guests, there's so many different spaces to hang out that actually a lot of guests say they've sort of hardly seen anyone else during their stay, even when it's full. So they've got a little TV room and then the lovely lounge with that amazing view, which you kind of get from so many different areas of the villa. There's another smaller pool which overlooks the ocean. And then they've got a lovely dining area up the top here. So that actually gets a really nice sunset view as well. So it's really nice to have a drink up here. And they quite often will try and set up private dinners for people in different areas, especially honeymooners. So guests can dine up here as well. And they've got the sala bar, which is actually really nice for when guests have a drink before dinner, and they can interact with the other guests in the villa if they'd like to. And then they also have their cellar as well, so plenty to choose from there. There is a little kitchenette just off the dining room, which is really just nice to make guests feel at home. Guests are really encouraged to kind of, come in and make a drink, come in and grab a snack whenever they feel like it. There is always staff on hand, but the feeling here is really to kind of make yourself at home. The main villa was actually originally built as kind of a holiday property, so was not, private residence really. So it wasn't for commercial use originally. So it has got that real home from home vibe, and guests are really encouraged to kind of, make themselves at home here. And then there is also the gift shop as well, which is just by the reception area if guests want to grab any curios to take home. So the suites here, you've got Santa Carolina, which is the largest suite. So it is the sort of honeymoon suite. And this is the only one that's sort of on an upper level, I guess, overlooking the ocean still. And it's sort of their sort of, flagship suite, I guess. And then the other 4 suites are just slightly smaller. They've all got amazing views and all have their own little terrace overlooking the ocean. Benguera and Bazaruto are on a lower level, so they work quite well if you've got sort of 2 couples traveling together, or guests with older, teenage children or something, so they can have sort of a floor to themselves almost. And as you can see, the interior design is all very just white, clean, crisp kind of interiors. And that was all done actually by the owner, Vanessa. Her and her husband own Santorini, and she really designed all the interiors here. And they're really hands-on. They're up here quite often, adding artwork, tweaking little things. They live in South Africa, so they're here. It's very easy for them to get here quite often. And they're really hands-on and really contribute to that kind of home from home feeling. So the family villas, there's the chapel, which is 2-bedroom, and then Villa de Praia, which is 3-bedroom. So both of these are privately hosted, so they have their own private staff and chef. They have all the use of the facilities at the main villa if they would like to, and then in the evenings, that main villa is just for guests that are staying there. And they also have private beach access as well. So the chapel is perfect for a family with younger kids, or even 2 couples traveling, or quite a lot of the time we have honeymoon couples who will stay here, so they have their own kind of private area. Again, such stunning views over the bay. It's just, the views here are incredible. They never get old. And then they've got their kind of main area as well here, so they've got a sort of kitchenette and dining area and lounge as well, so it's a really lovely self-contained area. And then Villa de Praia is the 3-bedroom villa. So it's got sort of 2 bedrooms on the upper level. So there's a bedroom up here and a bedroom on the right-hand side as well. And then there is the 3rd bedroom is on the lower level and is actually accessed externally. So it's quite nice if there's a family traveling with a nanny or grandparents or something, having that sort of external, more private entrance is really nice for those groups. And it is just perfect for families here. So it's completely private and they've got their own private pool and access to the beach. And then, the same lovely interiors as in the other 2 villas. So just, perfect for a family there. And in terms of activities, so as I said at the beginning, every 3-night stay, there is a complimentary island excursion included. And most guests, Santorini have a really great 4-for-3 offer, and most guests are really not staying less than 3 nights. So it is certainly made the most of by pretty much everyone. So guests will head out on the boat at sort of 9:30 in the morning. We'll head off. They'll head off snorkeling straight away and then settle in for a beach picnic on either Pansy Island or on Margruc Island. And guests can sort of choose whether they want to go snorkeling off at the reef off Margruc, or there's also another reef. So depending on their sort of swimming abilities, there's another reef just around the corner as well between a couple of the islands. And there is the opportunity to potentially see dugong here, and they are very rare, but actually a very lucky group of agents that Anita took out a couple of years ago got to see a dugong here. And there are dolphins, and during the whale migration season, in the sort of latter part of their winter, sort of August to October, guests can see whales here as well. So the included activities, there's kayaks and stand-up paddleboarding, there's beach volleyball and cricket, so they're really great for families, lots of beach games. In each villa, there is a gym basket with yoga mats, fitness balls, there's weights, so guests can kind of also get their workouts in. And then guests can obviously have picnics down on the beach for breakfast and lunch. And then with extra activities, these are organised through any kind of external operators, usually in Vilanculos, so really nearby. And there's horse safaris, they can have kite surfing. Santorini have got a dhow, so they can head out sailing either over to the islands or off on a sunset cruise. The deep sea fishing around here is really good, so guests can head out and do that. That's sort of full day's excursion. And then they can do diving, and there is also a spa at Santorini as well. If guests want to go out on the boat sort of on other days, they can. There's different charter packages that Santorini can organise out to the different islands within the sort of national park as well. And then also helicopter flips. So this is not something that we're offering right now. We're kind of getting that all worked out, but there is a helipad at Santorini, and guests will hopefully soon be able to head out on helicopter flights as well. So you've got the stand-up paddleboards and the kayaks. So it's a really lovely flat sort of bay. It's sort of shallow and flat. So it's really great for these sorts of water sports and the kite surfing as well. With the horse riding, the horses are actually from an operator just in town, who they came over from Zimbabwe in 2001 when the troubles were happening there, and there's a really amazing book called 104 Horses written about them, and they ended up taking all these horses with them over the border when they relocated to Mozambique, and they now have this horse riding sort of safari, as you were, sort of outlet there where they so you can go riding on the beach here, which is really stunning. As I said, the kite surfing is fantastic. So it's a really great bay for that with the winds. And then it's shallow and flat, so it's really perfect for kite surfing here. And then guests can head out on dhow cruises and deep sea fishing. And then the diving is fantastic. So there's diving, there's a really great reef in between 2 of the islands, about a 40-minute boat journey from Santorini, from the bay, and they can head out there, and the diving is fantastic on that reef. And then, as I said, you've got the gym baskets as well, and those private boat excursions. So if guests do want to go out on the boat more than just their kind of complimentary trip, then they're more than welcome to. And fingers crossed, we'll get those scenic helicopter flights up and running once we've got all of the permissions in place for that. So the spa is located sort of within the resort, and there's a lovely pool there as well. So guests can go and have a treatment and then have a sort of a dip in the pool as well. And it's a lovely little courtyard area actually that they will set up private dinners in as well, because it is very private and sort of set away from the main villa. So if guests are staying in the main villa and do want their private dinner, it is quite often set up there. So why Santorini? Well, first of all, the team here are amazing. So I was just staying there, and I was staying there by myself, and I felt completely at home. I felt so welcomed. They are seriously just the loveliest, loveliest team here. Everyone has those great big smiles on all the time, and they just make everyone feel so at home. It is so fantastic for families, so especially with those two private villas, really well set up for families, and they can sort of set up kids activities as well, so they can kind of really gear it towards kids. So that, yeah, and they also have child mindings or babysitting services as well, if adult guests would like that. All of the packages here are all-inclusive, so it's completely all-inclusive. So that's all meals and beverages, including alcoholic beverages, up to kind of, you know, obviously not the premium. And then also all the airport transfers and everything like that is included as well. The food here is so delicious. So one of the managers is a chef by trade, and actually worked at Athol Place in Johannesburg and got that to be renowned chateau. So he kind of oversees the cooking. He's not in the kitchen anymore, but he's certainly, they ensure that the training is done on a regular basis, and the food is seriously delicious. And I mean, the seafood here is amazing. The best sashimi I think I've ever had was here. They have a lovely organic vegetable garden, which they can set up lunches in, which is a really nice way for guests to kind of experience the sort of back of house, if you were. It's a beautiful garden, and they try and source a lot of their produce from here as well. So guests have that real kind of farm to table experience. They've got their new little Boma area called Paraiso Escondido, which used to be a little bit smaller, and they've kind of extended it and made it this beautiful kind of private area, so guests can take this exclusively if they want to have a bit more privacy in the day. And they also set up dinners here, so they can set up kind of big dinners for groups or private dinners for couples here as well. And then they also have a real kind of focus on sustainability. So staying here, you get given your water bottle on arrival, and you can fill that up as often as you want from the filter taps, and you can take it home with you as well, which is a nice little memory. And they also provide flip-flops for all their guests as well to take with them. And then they set up a couple of years ago their Santorini Footprints Initiative, which kind of formalized a lot of the things they were already doing with sort of supporting the local school, and also doing their kind of beach cleanup activities as well. So guests can go and visit the school, they can go and visit the local village, which is just around the corner, and really kind of experience the sort of local culture as well, which is a really nice kind of plus for being on the mainland here. And then in terms of COVID-19, the staff at the villa have obviously been doing these procedures for quite a while now, so they're very much clued up on it. To get into Mozambique now, you no longer need a PCR test if you're fully vaccinated. I mean, obviously, we never know if that might be removed again, but that is the advice at the moment. And obviously you're transferring usually from South Africa, so you also don't need one for South Africa if you're fully vaccinated. So let's hope that that stays in place. And then this is just a bit of an idea of the rates. So yeah, you've got the sort of from rate here. We'll obviously send through all the rates for the seasons, and then obviously of the villas as well. And then they also have their promotions. So they've got the long stay, as I said earlier, you've got the stay 4, pay 3, which we found, you know, most people do stay 4 nights here. We've had a lot of people staying longer, more recently, you know, sort of a week, up to 10 days. And yeah, just loving that longer stay. And then they've also got their honeymoon offer as well. So these packages are running until the end of this year, and then there might be a bit of a change to these. But at the moment, we've got the packages with Chilo Gorge in Zimbabwe, and then also Rockfig Safari Lodge as well. So they've got their honeymoon offer, and then also their stay pay offer with Rockfig as well. So they work really nicely together. And the sorry, I should have said the one with Chilo Gorge, it is included in the rate is guests only pay $250 for the private charter flight between the 2 properties, which is a real saving, because flying between these 2 is usually a little bit more difficult. So that's a really nice plus, being able to combine them. And so I'll just end on a little video of Santorini, which kind of hopefully really conveys the property to you.